Hey, everybody. Hey everybody, Just Intuitive Angel Healer here with Why Not Wednesdays, and we've got my special guest here, Christina Miranda. Hey everybody.
Hello.
And hold on, we're gonna admit somebody to the crowd. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. This is my series, Why Not Wednesdays, and it's an empowered woman series that I'm doing. And a little history about Christina here. Me and her went to school to be medical assistants back in 2009 in Albuquerque. Whoa, way back when.
Yeah.
So, anyways, here we are. Fast forward, we're still friends. How awesome is that? We've been friends
Right.
for 7 years now. And she is still trucking in her field because a lot of people go to school to be a medical assistant. As we saw, a lot of our classmates went to school to be a medical assistant. Not all of them made it, and I know that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's why I'm happy for the ones that do, and I know your journey wasn't easy, and there's a lot of women out there who need inspiration these days because it's hard. It's hard to raise a family.
Yeah.
It's hard to live on one income. It's hard to be a single mom. But even if you have a spouse to help you with, it's still hard. And
Yeah.
looking is hard too. So but women like you inspire us to get up, and that's also why I wanted to do this, because even in my darkest moments I ran across people like you who really gave me inspiration to say, she has a kid, she's in her 30s, she's going to school, I can do this too. So I'm going to hand it over to you, but I just wanted to say thank you so much.
No, thank you. This is so awesome. I love it.
I got the angels are definitely here. I've got goosebumps. You can see my chills. I love it because this is near and dear to my heart. I've been in the medical field since 2008. I love my fellow medical people. I've taken a more holistic, we're kind of yin and yang, but we
Right.
have the same when it comes down to thinking.
Absolutely.
Have that medical mindset, and I want to go ahead and hand it over to you, and I want to say thank you again for coming over and see what you got.
No, thank you. No, this is really truly amazing. Like you said, it's hard. It's hard across the board. Single moms, married moms. It's hard to be a girl, truthfully. It's not anything that's easy. So a little bit about me. I'm here in Albuquerque. I'm a medical assistant. I'm also a outreach program coordinator. And what that means is we do outreach clinics here in New Mexico. We fly to little cities like Farmington and Roswell and Las Cruces. And we do one little small clinic most Fridays. And then we fly back, and we do that for the people that can't necessarily make it to Albuquerque. So we try to help out the smaller cities there. I'm about to turn 36, and I've been here my whole life. I'm born and raised in Albuquerque. I'm married to an amazing man, and I have a 12-year-old boy that my amazing man has adopted. So we have a quaint little family. And it was hard. I as Jesse said, I started my medical assisting schooling in 2009 and became a medical assistant and decided I didn't want to stop there. And I kept going and got my bachelor's in healthcare management and still dabble in the idea of continuing on. But again, it's hard, you know.
How long did it
Um,
how long did it take you to fully complete your bachelor's degree?
I think total it was like 5 years.
Was
I
that
did the
yeah,
everything.
you did it 5 straight years from associates to bachelor's.
Yep.
Was
So from 2009 is when I started the medical assisting, and then I graduated in 2014 with my bachelor's.
Well, that gives, because that's the biggest thing is people are worried about time and they tell
Yeah.
themselves, I don't have enough time, I can't do it. 5
Yep.
years of your life. How many of us have spent more than 5 years devoting our life to some jerk who ruined our lives? So
Oh,
these
preach it. Yep.
you can do it. That's
Yep.
5 years.
And so, you know, you touched a little bit on our journeys. And when I started school, I was in a terrible marriage, a fairly abusive marriage, you know, and I decided to better myself and go to school. And, you know, so what started this whole empowerment journey is Jesse, I don't know how, I think we were in our first class together, right? The Strategies for Success class. Okay. So this class, I don't know how many people have seen the movie or read the book The Secret, but this class was basically that. Like it was, you set your intentions, you focus on what you want, you continue to tell yourself that you can do it, and eventually you will, right? And I had this turning point. I got home one day, I was living in a trailer out in Moriarty and just not happy. And I got home and I'm gonna get emotional. But I looked around, you know, and I was like, what am I doing here? This isn't the life I wanted for myself. This isn't the life I want for my kid. And that moment right there is what turned it for me. And I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this done. And my marriage and relationship ended within like 3 weeks.
It all changes in a moment, doesn't it?
Yep,
Like
totally.
it can change in a moment, just like that.
Yep. And yep. I mean, we started fighting. I mean, it was just, everything fell into place because I finally told myself, this isn't what I want. This isn't where I want to be.
And then you decided to move further and not just say it, but actually put action steps behind it to do it.
Yep. Yep.
How long were you married for?
Not long. I don't even know. A year and a half.
Awesome. See, and then you know that's the thing was a lot of people get married because they want that comfort, and then they forgot the person that they got married to didn't share with you that it's like who the bleep did I marry? That show they forgot to share with you the psycho parts of.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Totally.
Stuck, but ladies, you're not stuck. You're never stuck.
Never.
You were stuck if you keep yourself stuck.
Yep. Absolutely.
Always want to share that with people. So I just want to dive into these real quick questions with you.
Sure. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, when you close your eyes and imagine an empowered woman, what description comes to your mind?
So I really see someone who is successful, and that means something different to everybody, right? Doesn't mean that you have to be successful in a job, but somebody that, you know, is successful, is hardworking, somebody that's not afraid to reach for the stars. You know, if you can think it, you can probably do it, you know. And it really is somebody that's just hardworking and devoted and determined to do what it needs to take to get stuff done.
Nice. So, you ever does like Wonder Woman ever come to your mind? That's what comes.
Yeah.
To mind.
I mean, come on, like she's the most empowered woman.
I think I had my mom did something right when I was a kid because I remember having Wonder Woman pajamas in the 80s, the original ones.
Heck
And
yeah, man.
I think I jumped off my couch and tried to fly it somewhere.
Haven't we all done that?
Yeah, it didn't work out too well. So, all right, And you told us a little bit about your path of empowerment. Okay, so what was most significant about your journey on your path to where you are now? Because you can always go the journey to empowerment never stops.
Ever.
But you got to start it at somewhere, and you obviously started it that day that you decide, we're not doing this.
Yep. That was definitely the day. And like I said, within a few weeks, I ended up moving in with my mom, and it kind of it moved into, you know, I was working full time, I was going to school full time, and I became a single mom overnight. And
And how
talk
did
about,
that feel?
huh?
How did that feel?
Yeah, talk about challenging. I mean, uh, on one hand, like I felt like such a badass that I could walk away that day and almost not look back. And trust me, that's much easier said than done, and we all know that. But it was pretty jarring to have your whole life flipped upside down in, you know, a week. I left with the clothes on my back and my kid, and that was it.
What kept you to not ever turn back home? Because that's the biggest thing is women get lured back into the
Yeah.
lion's den. What would be your
And
advice to not get lured back into the lion's den?
yeah, I would be lying if I said I didn't. You know, we had moments that we were trying to work things out, and you know, it really just became, I really had to dig deep, and it didn't have anything to do with my feelings at that point anymore. It was all about my kid. And the lifestyle that he led was not a lifestyle that I was willing to raise my kid in. And so I really, and I'm not saying it was easy. You know, these things are never easy. Um, and I had to dig deep, like really deep, and just be like, you know what, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And I can't remember at what point it was just like no more, you know. But it happened eventually.
You just had to keep
Yep.
digging for the inner strength, because that's
Yep.
one of the clients' biggest things is to not get that carrot dangled back to get
Yep.
and it's
Lured back in.
been done, but you know, that's the thing, ladies, is inner strength is more powerful than anything.
It's a lot more powerful than even we know.
Exactly. And yeah, I can do some things. So what was most rewarding of your journey to be empowered from that moment to where you are now? Because I'm sure you have your good and bad days, but you get up in the morning like, yeah,
Yeah.
I got my job, I got my life that I've been wanting
Yeah.
all these years, I finally got it. How do you feel?
I think the most rewarding part was graduating. And it, you know, it was like that whole month. My husband and I were on our honeymoon, and I was sitting in Puerto Rico in his dad's house
Wow.
finishing assignments so that I could graduate on time.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I mean, it was, and so to look back and know all of the things that my husband had to put up with and that I had to give up and sacrifice, it was all worth it in that moment. And I have my degree. My husband framed my degree with a picture of me walking down the aisle, and I'm crying in my picture because I was so overwhelmed and just so like just touched, you know. There were days I never thought I would get there, you know.
Nice. Nice. I like it. Awesome. Well, that's really awesome that you still have it around, you know, it's like I earned this. I finally got there, and
Yes, ma'am.
I feel that way. I feel that way a lot.
Yeah.
So what advice or suggestions could you give to women walking the path of empowerment, or if they're trying, most of it is if they're trying to get started, what would you say to them? Or if they're there, but they need a kick in the patoot to keep on going.
Yeah. The biggest advice I can offer is really to set goals. And I know it sounds cliche. And one of the things that we learned in our strategies for success class is daily affirmations. And when we started it, I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. But, you know, if you set little tiny goals at a time, whether it's to get through one homework assignment or one day or one class, You know, you can set a big picture goal, but it's really important to focus on the little goals because they are easier to attain. Big picture goals can be really overwhelming at times. So really just focus on the big picture, but really hone in on those little goals. Another huge piece of advice is to surround yourself with positivity. And that is part of this whole thing, right? Like, women can be not very nice. And we work in a field that's primarily women and not very nice, you know, and so it really is important to have people around you that are positive, that are supportive, that are willing to uplift you rather than knock you down.
Yeah, and I've worked in medical offices, and if you are not the favorite, yeah, say a lot of affirmations, because
Yes. Yes.
and it's funny that you say it's cliche, because all my clients are like, well, I guess she got confirmation, because that's what all my clients have to do is repeat affirmations and make goals. And
Yep.
it sounds really cliche, but you know what? It takes about, I think it's 21 days to make or break a, a toxic pattern, and also
Yeah.
to program your brain. So if you do something 21 days, subconsciously you're gonna start doing what your program
That.
is. So
Yep.
that's why the affirmations work.
Absolutely.
So okay, how do you support your women, the women in your community currently to empower their lives?
So I'm a big proponent of being positive. I think that is one of the things I pride myself in is I try really hard to be that light in people's life. I hate being negative. My husband might tell you different, but I hate negativity. I really try to be uplifting and supportive. And you know, if a girl wants to go for a promotion, girl, go for it. Like, don't be scared, don't hesitate, try, because you're never going to know until you try.
Do you participate in any like health programs in your community, or any programs with your activities that you promote in? I know that
So
there's different stuff. Like when you're in a medical office, you have different things, and they put you in groups that you don't want to be in. And I know that teaches you how to work with people, but teaching people, you know, more people need to do that at the workplace. Stop being so mad when you get a promotion. Like,
no, it's crazy. And it's like I've been promoted within an organization a few times, and like the attitude and the backlash and the things that these girls project is mind blowing. Like, I don't understand why you can't just be happy, you know?
yeah, and you know, like it's silly, because when something bothers you in somebody else, it's usually a reflection of something that's unhealed in yourself. So um, if people would realize that, they would stop tearing down their fellow sister, because we're
Right.
in this, ladies. We are not against each other. Even the worst woman out there, she's still your sister. She's still part of our
Yep.
little clan here. So
Yep.
if you don't like someone, just ignore them and keep on walking. But
Yep. And I don't ever tell anyone that they can't do something ever,
well,
because
we need more of that, though. We need more women empowering women, and it's not, oh, I'm gonna empower you because I like you. You
right.
fit into my group, because that's my problem. I've always been the outsider, but I've been friends with everyone and friends with no one. You know, I'm just
Yep.
that person, and I don't think it's fair to only let certain people be a part of something. So if more people come together, you know, but that's
Yep.
also like the attitude. That's definitely, and when you have patient care, that feeds into your patient care, because you meet a lot of women in your community too. So by carrying that positive attitude, you're definitely empowering your other clients, and you don't even know it. Awesome.
Right.
Love it. All right. Who and what inspires you to continue down your path of empowerment as a woman?
So definitely my family inspires me. You know, how could they not? Um, but another big thing that inspires me, and y'all might laugh, but my husband and I are part of a Star Wars costuming group, and we dress up in Star Wars characters, and we do charity events kind of across the board. We do fundraising walks and children's hospitals, and you name it, we do it. And for me, it's very empowering because and I'm not saying there's no girls in our group, because there sure are, but definitely it's a male dominated group. And I gotta tell you, putting on that armor makes me feel like a freaking badass. Like it's very empowering. And so that continues kind of my, now that I'm not in school and I'm not like necessarily striving for anything, it definitely helps the empowerment part that, like, you want to be a stormtrooper and you're a girl, go be a stormtrooper. Like, it can be done.
And do you guys do any like little groups like like for teenage girls, say, that want to become a star, dress up and be a star trooper or anything? Do you guys do anything like that?
We do. So we have our kids group, and we do a lot of outreach with that. And so, reaching out to parents and reaching out, we'll be at like a Comic-Con and we'll see a little girl, and I'll tell them all the time, you can be a stormtrooper too. It's not just boys that can do this, and
Jeez.
it's pretty cool.
I like that. That's awesome. All right. So what is your daily self-care regimen? So, because, being in the medical field, you have to have a daily self-care regimen or you will suffer from burnout. I don't care if you're a CNA, a tech, whatever you are, you have to have a regimen. So how do you take care of yourself, and what's part of your regimen, and what do you do to keep yourself, mind, body, and soul centered? So, because you suck up a lot of negative energy as well, being a medical person, because we have to smile and be a mountain. And no matter if you cuss you out or whatever you do, you have to smile and be a mountain. So,
yep.
I'm sorry you feel that way, sir. Let me look into that. What is your daily care? So because some days are challenging, and then Corona days.
This is a whole new beast, but yeah.
Right now.
We drink a lot. No. Something that is super important is to be able to separate work from home. And that is easier said than done a lot of the times. But it really is something that you really have to do. And, if something needs to be done tomorrow, it will be there tomorrow. And to not stress about it once you get home. And like I said, it's easier said than done. I've had jobs that I couldn't do that, but I would like to do yoga more. I'm really into yoga, but I don't do it as often as I like because it's expensive and I need to just do it here at home.
Well, just so you know, I don't know if your local library does, but my local library, this is awesome. They have free yoga classes, and since the Corona and all the libraries are shut down, they're doing it for free off the Zoom. So go to meetup.com, and meetup.com has all those, and they'll do them for free for you off of Zoom.
Awesome. Oh, good to know.
But yeah, that's awesome. So you like yoga, and what's funny is I bought my first yoga mat, and but I still need to roll it out. So I'm right there with you, sister.
You got to do it. Maybe we'll do a Zoom yoga meet.
No, because see, my thing is I want to be in the class full of all over 60 years old. I don't want to be in the cute 20-year-old class because I'm not cute when I work out. I want to.
You are cute. Nobody's cute when they work out.
Oh, I got jokes. No, but that's why I don't go yoga. I don't do gyms. I don't want to see myself working out.
I know. I hear you.
I'm Barbie, but right now, I don't need to see all that. I just need to know it's working.
I know. Totally. I hear you.
All right. So, do you do any jogging or anything, or just a little bit of yoga? But that yoga is an awesome thing, ladies. So whatever. And a lot of people don't understand that meditating doesn't necessarily have to be closing your eyes, sitting in prayer for 20 hours.
Right.
Meditation can be actually drawing, painting,
yep.
Whatever you're sitting there focused on. So if you do like 15 minutes of that, that's a way of a form of meditation as well.
Yeah.
I like to share that with people because people, ever since I've been on my journey, people made this stuff way more complicated, and that's why it's taken me till I'm 40 to figure it out. But
Yeah.
well, I don't, I'm understanding it, and I like to teach people the easier way so they don't
Yeah.
sit here and struggle, because that's why people don't do this, because they make it really, really hard to do, and it's not as hard as people make it out.
I can totally see that.
What is your vision and hope for professional women in the holistic and wellness field in the next 5 to 10 years? And what would help empower future women?
Oh, I really, it's kind of a hard question to answer, but I really just feel like if we can get women especially, but people in general, to be uplifting and encouraging, it would change everything so much. Like it doesn't take much to make somebody feel good and to make them feel empowered, to have one person say, "Hey, you can totally do that." You know, if we all get on that mentality, there would be no stopping anyone, you know?
Do you think that's the biggest reason why people aren't, women fail at the journey, because they don't have anyone behind them cheering them on?
Absolutely. I feel like it's a huge proponent, and there's a lot of toxic people out there, and us women, we're nurturing, and I can guarantee we're all guilty of it. We come across some dude that, we feel like we can fix him. And, you know, and it turns out that they are the ones that tear us down the most and make us feel like we can't do what we want to do. And so it's pretty important to get away from people like that, because they will make you believe it, and it doesn't take much for them to make you believe it.
Especially if you're already broken. It's
Yep.
not really hard. If I'm in a broken state, it's not really hard to make me believe stuff. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
what role do men do you feel that men play in supporting empowered women? Now that we're on that topic, and
Right. I was gonna say that's kind of a caveat into this, right?
yeah, and what men have you had in your life be a big part of your journey?
So initially it was my dad. When I told you when I started school, my ex, his whole thing was, "Oh, now you think you're better than me and you can't do this," and blah blah blah. And so my dad was really the one that was like, "All right, pull your big girl panties up. You can do this." And then I met my current husband, and it's a night and day difference. And I can tell you this man has been with me through the craziest of job changes and lifestyle changes, and uh, you know deciding to continue to go for my bachelor's. And I've started my master's twice, and he has been behind me every step of the way. And he is completely supportive, and he'll be like, "Okay, if that's what you want, do it." And the job that I had a really good job, a really good paying job, and I was miserable. And I ended up taking a really 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 big pay cut. And he was like, "You know what, it's okay, we'll do it, we'll work through it." And there has not been one aspect of my life that he hasn't been behind me saying, "Let's do it."
Nice, nice. See, that's very important. Do you feel like that is the extra encouragement that you really needed?
Oh, absolutely. There is absolutely no way I'd be where I am now without him.
Nice. So it is really important, especially as a mom of a son, that it's coming from you. That it's very important how we teach our sons. If you're a mom and you have a son, it's very important that you teach them the correct way, because
Yep.
they're gonna pay it forward. And so because
Yep.
men are very important on our journey too. And if you have good men figures, it helps. If
It
you
helps.
have one, you can still make it, because I've seen many people make it, but the struggle is real and it's a
That's big
lot.
time. Yep.
So okay, why is having a good self-care and self-love regimen important in being an empowered female?
The biggest thing is really you can't take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself. You've got to be able to love yourself, and it's, again, easier said than done. Us as women, there's all the stigma and expectations, and social media perpetuates that quite a bit, but you really have to just love yourself and take care of yourself so that you can take care of other people.
Nice, yeah, and you can't pour from an empty pot because how do you feel about this statement? Because this is the next thing, that's the biggest thing with my clients is I don't have time for self-care, and self-care is that's selfish because in their mind, society has told us self-care is going and getting your nails did and your feet did and your hair did. Now,
Hmm.
it's part of self-care, but what if self-care is sitting quietly outside and just breathing without
Yep.
anyone talking to you? That is
Yep.
self-care.
Self-care. Yep.
But
Watching a chick flick or listening to that music, speakers blared on your way home. That's all part of self-care.
stop denying, and another thing, stop denying yourself of joy. That's the biggest thing. Women feel if they deny themselves of joy. Now, it's not okay if you don't have money and you go buy Starbucks every day, but it is okay if you're having a bad day and you need to go buy yourself a $5 cup of coffee, you go do that. Because
Yep.
self-care, it makes you feel good. You give me a $5 cup of coffee, who knows what Starbucks, I might go have $1 million idea. Like,
Yep.
don't, self-care is not self.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna wrap this up with my last question. And what advice can you give our group and our viewers here today about how to not to deny themselves of self-care and not to settle for anything less than their dreams?
I mean, that really is the key word there, is don't settle. Again, easier said than done, and I know that. But if I can do it, you can do it. Truly don't settle. Set your sights on what you want, focus on that, and really just get rid of all of the toxins, the toxicity in your life, whether it be people, family members, environments. Do your best to get rid of all of that negativity, and good will come your way.
Nice, I love it. I love it. It's awesome, man. So I am super excited, like I said, to have you here, and I'm honored that you accepted it. I'll
No,
be
this has been great.
I made you a little certificate, and I'll be posting it up on our post probably. But I went ahead and for our viewers, I went ahead and gave this Christina an empowered woman certificate, and I think it's fun. It's got an angel, and we need these little things. I may not be, as famous as Oprah or Ellen DeGeneres.
Not yet, girlfriend.
Not yet, but I will.
You will be.
People know me, okay? I'm a big deal around. But but I'm very honored because you know what? Things like
I'm honored. Shoot, this was awesome.
because this is what's going to help you get up is that you make a difference. And a lot of times us as women don't see the little things because we're so in our own little world, and it's just like this little box. I can't see I can't see the rest of your house. I can only see what's behind your head. And this
Yep.
is the little box most of us live in every day. And that's why people aren't pursuing their dreams. But if you can be like Christina, and a little determination goes a long way. And, every story like Oliver Twist or anything that starts out as a tragedy can end in victory, but you have to change your mindset.
Yep.
And you're a perfect example that nobody told you, hey, you have to do this. You didn't come from the finest of the fine. You're not a princess. You're just like all the rest of us. But you know what?
Yep.
You came out and you showed everyone, hey, I can do this just as good as you can. And I can do it when I'm already halfway into adulthood and I don't have to start this off at 18. So I think it's really awesome. You help us, people like you help us believe in ourselves. And just like Peter Pan in Neverland, you start believing in your dreams. And
Yeah.
don't let people ever tell you you can't, because only you can set you free. So
Yep.
thank you so much for joining.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
I love it, and join us every Wednesday, and I hope if you have anyone you want to nominate, it's going to be a weekly thing, and
Okay.
we'll talk to you soon. But thank you
All right.
for joining us, and
So,
I love it.
I do too. This was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for joining. This is Jessie with Your Grounded. I'm going to go ahead and put the replay up on, I'll put it up on my Your Grounded page and the group. So love and light, everybody. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll chat with you later. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.